it's your girl Joanna. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a real classic old-fashioned makeup tutorial. In case some of you guys didn't know, my channel was hacked in January and I just started uploading again last week, so it's been about 4 months since I've been off YouTube. Okay, but I'm back now finally, and I just wanted to sit down and just do my makeup. Not gonna lie though, I was in a creative rut, but I wanted to do something classy and I came across this photo by MakeUp by Ja and I was just like, I need to recreate that. It's absolutely beautiful. So if you guys want to know how I got this makeup look right here, then keep on watching. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer in the shade Rose. I like to apply this with my fingers just because my fingers will like warm up the product and it will spread around a lot easier. I was comparing this to the MAC Cosmetics Paint Pot, and honestly, I personally like this one a lot better. I do like the MAC Paint Pot, but my only issue with it was that it felt like it was drying out my eyelids. But with this one, it doesn't feel that way. Palette I'm using today is the Morphe Dare to Create 39A. The first shade I'm using is called Canvas, and I'm going in with my Morphe Y15 brush. I'm starting on the outer corners and then working it into my crease, and I'm using a very light hand. It's okay if it goes all over your eyelids, but you do want to make sure you're focusing it into the outer corner in the crease, but we're gonna clean that up afterwards. I kind of like to just bring it out just a bit. Next, I'm going to be mixing two shades together. It is Evolve and Transitional. The brush I'm using here is the Japanese number 724, and as you guys can see, it's kind of slim but yet fluffy on the top. And I'm using this one just to be a little bit more precise while making sure that the eyeshadow doesn't look too sharp. I'm starting on the outer corner again, but I'm being a little bit more precise of where I'm placing the shadow. I don't want it to go too far out. Being a little bit more direct into my crease. Again, it's okay if you get it all over the lid because we're going to clean that up. Going back in with just a little bit of canvas, I'm going to soften up the edges, just very, very lightly. I'm going to be doing a half cut crease, and I'm using the e.l.f. Cosmetics 16-Hour Camo Concealer in the shade Light Beige. I'm starting from the inner corners. I'm kind of just patting my way through. Sometimes I like to look up just to see how far I want the line to go. Definitely just take your time with this. Now that the crease is cut, I'm going to take the Japanese brush again and taking just a little bit of the shade Canvas. I'm going to blend that outer eyeshadow into the concealer just very lightly, and you can see that it has a nice smooth transition. The angle brush, I'm going to mix the shadow Evolve and Transitional again. I'm just going to line my eyes with this. That way it looks like I have eyeliner just fading into the eyeshadow. For lashes, I'm using the PrePermed PushUp lashes from SalonPerfect. This is number 671. For that, I'm just going to apply a light coat of mascara. You can use whatever mascara you like. I personally prefer waterproof mascara because when I put the false lashes over my real lashes and then curl them together, they tend to stick together a lot better. I like using the Laura Mercier eyelash curler when I have false lashes on, just because when you open it, it's so wide and I can easily get all of the lash hairs into it. I don't necessarily fully curl the lashes. I'm just pushing together my real and fake lashes together. Now for the face makeup, I'm just wiping away any fallout. I'm going to be priming with the UrbanDecay AllNighter Face Primer. This has become one of my new favorite primers. I kind of stopped using really thick primers. I used to like adding those like putty kind of primers around my pore areas. It did make my makeup look really nice and smooth, but overall it just felt like I was putting even more products into my pores and just clogging them even more. Okay, that's why I'm opting for a more lighter primer and using foundations that I know will make my pores look more minimized. And one of those foundations that help kind of minimize the appearance of my pores is the AnastasiaBeverlyHills Luminous Foundation. I'm using the shade 270C. Ooh, I don't know why it's pumping like that. Using a beauty blender, just putting this all over my face. I personally like the black beauty blender. I don't know why, I feel like this works so much better with my skin. Make sure you bring this down a little bit into the neck. This foundation is a medium to full, but I always only use one layer of foundation with whatever foundation I use, and this foundation does a really good job with covering up a lot of like my really tiny blemishes or the veins that show up on the side of my face. Even though this is a really glammed up look, it does not necessarily mean you need to use a lot of makeup. To brighten up the face, I'm using the e.l.f. Cosmetics 16-Hour Camo Concealer in the shade Light Beige. I'm just applying this right here. I'm not going to use a lot. I'm going to blend this out first because the concealer does dry up pretty quickly. You see how you really don't need a lot of concealer? I'd be seeing some people like put it all over here, and I used to do that, but the older I get, the more or less makeup I want to use. Dabbing a little bit onto the rest of my face, which is the middle of my forehead, a little bit down the nose, and center of my chin. I like to fan my face and dry down the foundation and concealer. That way when I go over with any powder, the foundation doesn't move. This has been out for a little while, but it's one of my new favorite makeup products that I'm using almost every single day. This is the MakeupForever Matte Velvet Skin Powder Foundation. I'm using the shade Y245. I do like using this all over my face, but I specifically really like using this under my eyes. And I'm actually using the cushion that it comes with. And I'm just going to lightly dab this under the eye. This is gonna help a lot with the creasing under the eyes. And I also like to take this right onto these crevices around my nose because my makeup creases the most right under here. Also dabbing this around the nose just because that is where I get the most oily. To contour, I'm using the Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder, shade number 2. This is one of my favorite contouring brushes. It's the Morphe. It's either R14 or B14. The reason why I really like this to contour is because it has a slight gray undertone, so it looks more natural to me. Of course, to make sure it looks all evened out, I'm gonna bring this around the perimeters of my face. I'm gonna warm up the skin just a bit. I'm using another Milani product. This is the Baked Bronzer Soleil in number 5. I'm gonna go over where I contour just lightly and then kind of just around that. Not using a lot of this, I just wanna brush it lightly all over my skin, just giving my face a little bit more warmth. For blush, I'm using the Super Shark Chic blush from ColourPop, and this is in the shade Underclassmen. Smile and apply this to the apples of the cheek and kind of just lightly bring this in towards your bronzer. I like to dab just a little over the nose just because that's where you would naturally blush. Then to highlight, I'm using the Galani Celestial Skin Luminizing Powder in the shade Tease. Okay, and the brush I'm using is the Morphe R36. This is a really bright highlight, and I'm actually not that really into super in-your-face highlights anymore, but I really like this highlight because it looks really good on the skin, so I just like to apply it and then going over with my beauty blender, just lighten it down a bit. That way it looks a little bit more natural. Step it onto the nose. I'm gonna dab a little bit the highlight also into the inner corner of my eyes. Now to set everything in place, I'm using the MakeupForever Light Velvet Air Setting Spray. I've only used this a couple of times and it's not so bad. Finishing off under the eyes, taking the shade Evolve and Transitional, just mixing those two together. I'm making sure that's connecting on the outer corners. Using the Japanese brush to kind of just soften up the edges. I'm not using any extra eyeshadow or anything. And of course, some mascara onto the bottom lashes. Don't mind my lips, they are a little bit dry. Anyways, I'm starting with the KKW Lip Liner in the shade Nude 1.5. I'm only overlining my lip on the top half. I kind of just color it in. And then for lipstick, I'm using the KKW 2.5 Nude. Ew, I hate how my lips be looking crusty. I'm not necessarily going all the way up to the outline. I like to go ahead and just use my finger and kind of just blend the liner and the lipstick together. I've been trying to get into the habit of cleaning my lips after I do lipstick because you normally don't do that because I was lazy. I'm using this flat liner brush from Sigma. This is E15. Go ahead and clean this up. So this is the final look. I'm definitely gonna try to do some more makeup tutorials on here every month because I feel like I definitely fell off that for a bit, but I'm excited to be back. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a thing or two from this tutorial. And again, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see y'all next time.